Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jason from Straight Edge Knives coming at you with another video. Hey, this one's going to be a good one. If you guys, I've done two Fobos knives on this channel so far, the Tier 1 BC and the Cacula, and both are awesome knives. Highly recommend them. And this is a third in the Fobos lineup. This is the Fobos Alaris. I'm going to go through a quick unboxing real quick to show you kind of what comes in the box. If you watch my other two videos, it's a lot of, it's pretty much the same stuff, but it's, if you're new to the channel and this is your first Phobos video with me, it's going to be new to you. So first off, what you're going to get in the box, it's a very nice box. I mean, it's just a box, but I mean, it's packaged well. Nice branding on the box, if you will. It comes like a warranty card with a little information on the company. It was started by Eric Hansen, a veteran of the U.S. military. Thank you, sir, for your service, by the way. Great guy. I've talked to him on the phone. I met him in person at Blade Show West. Very nice guy. He's trying to make the best tools possible out there for you guys, all made in the USA. You'll also get some stickers, some Fobos knife stickers. And there's like a little warranty kind of card in here, if you will. On top of that, you'll have your sheath and your knife. But before I show you those, I'll show you kind of the packaging. It comes very packed nicely. This nice foam kind of insert. So when your knife is shipped out, it's shipped safe and secure. It's not going to get damaged in transport or anything like that. Let's set that to the side. Then you also have, this one comes with some of the knives have Kydex, and you can also order them with a leather sheath. The leather sheaths are very, very, very nice. But the Kydex is also very, very nice and well done. It's got a dangler loop here that you can take off and switch it to the left or right. So if you're left-handed or right-handed. But let's get to the knife, man. That's what we want to see. So here it is, guys. Check it out. That is the Fobos Alaris. This thing is awesome. I like big blades in general, but I love like the width of this blade. This is almost like a cross between a kitchen / hunting knife, if you will. It's not really a kitchen knife, but you could definitely do a lot of kitchen type tasks with this camp cooking test. But man, this thing is beautiful. It's got these nice micarta handles, red liners. I mean, you can see that. I mean, I'll bring the camera in closer and give you guys a really nice up close look at this. As a matter of fact, why don't we do that right now? Stand by. Let me pause this video. We'll get a nice up close look at the blade before we start testing on it. And that way you can see a lot of the nice little subtleties in the blade, like the swedge and things like that. So let me pause it real quick and flip it around for you guys. All right, everybody, here we go with this up close view of the Alaris. As you can see, it's a stonewash finish. And you know what, as a matter of fact, I can give you guys the specs while we're checking out this blade. So you got a blade length of 4.92 inches, a cutting edge of 4.61. The handle is 5.59 inches long. Overall, you're looking at a 10.5 inch blade. It's CPM 3V stainless with a 58 Rockwell hardness. It's 0.20 thick. It is a drop point with a flat grind, a stonewash finish, black micarta handles with red liners, as you can see there. Red in this light. It's kind of cloudy out here today, so it looks almost orangish, but it's really a red color. And then the weight is 11.7 ounces. It's not a heavy, I mean, it's a big knife, but it's not an overly heavy knife. And I believe the balance on it's really nice to me because it's right there in that finger choil. You got this nice lanyard hole. A pommel here, like for, you had to crack open some coconuts or, adjust somebody's attitude. And then one of the really cool things with the Fobos knives is their bow drill divots. Now, if you're looking there, you can see that it actually goes all the way down to the metal, right? And it's like that on both sides. Now, with your bow drill end piece being in here on metal, it creates less friction, so you're able to turn your spindle a lot faster to generate more heat and get that fire going a lot faster, rather than it being on the micarta, which is going to cause resistance and more friction. So that's a very cool concept and idea. I've never made a bow drill fire jib, so I can't speak to it personally, but from what I've told, that it works really well and that it's it just works well from what I've been told. I would be interested. I do need to learn how to start a bow drill fire. But one of the other cool things that they have up here is this nice swedge. So you can see it swedges, but then it flares back out. And that's just to make sure that you have enough meat behind the tip. That's what she said. Yeah, I know. I threw it in there. But it gives you enough meat behind the tip to where you have a very strong, sharp tip. That way, if you're doing stab tests, you're coming in and you're having to stab into stuff, you're not going to run the risk of bending or breaking a tip off because it definitely has enough behind it. But you still have this nice wedge that thins it out a little bit, gives you, it basically reinforces the tip is what it does. And it gives it a really nice aesthetic look as well. But there's multiple handle grip positions on here. And if you can see here, it scallops out here for your fingers. So, you can, when you go to grab it, your finger comes in nicely right there. You get a nice full grip. You can flip it around, get a nice reverse grip. You can put your thumb over the top, or you can even choke back a little bit, kind of put your thumb over the top. And even though it's not a long handle, it still has enough to where if you have to choke back to get a little bit of that extra power for chopping, you can do that. And we're going to do that today. We're going to choke back a little bit, give it a little extra. But here's the sheath, and like I was saying, it's got this nice dangler D-ring. You can take this off completely and flip it around for left or right-handed carry. It's got a nice drainage hole in the bottom. I mean, overall, it's a very well-made sheath, very solid construction. Again, you can get a leather sheath off the website, Fobos website, or I believe you can even order some of these blades with a leather sheath. The leather is really nice, very well made. I've seen those in person, and I can attest that they're high quality. So if you're a leather or Kydex fan, you have great choices either way. I really do like this Kydex sheath. It's set up nicely, multiple points here, so you can pretty much attach any type of carry system you want to it. So, which is awesome. Very nice retention. There's no rattle in this sheath at all. It's got this nice little thumb ramp right here, so you can kind of come in, pop it right off, no problem. And so overall, it's a very nice carry package, and the blade just feels great in the hand, and I love how your knuckles are here, but the blade is still here. So if you're doing like some camp chopping, vegetables and stuff like that, you can. Or if you had to come in here, you can choke up, kind of do some finer carving, cutting. Put your thumb on the back. It's got a nice rounded spine, so it's not rough on your thumb. The jimping is here in the handle and not the metal. So, it feels it's got traction, but it's not super aggressive. Down here, it is in the metal, but even if I reverse grip it and put my thumb on the back, the jimping on these Fobos knives is just fantastic. It's very nicely rounded. There's no sharp edges. If you can see how it goes into the handled material and lines up perfectly, it's just very high quality, very nicely done. The jimping here on the index finger is nice and rounded. It just doesn't feel rough or hot. They do an excellent job with the jimping. And on the Tier 1 BC, the Calcula, and this one, they're all fantastic with the jimping. So we're going to flip the camera around and let's get into this testing because I know that's what you guys want to see. So stand by. Ooh, all right. Got it set up here. Make sure my camera's in a good view. See the stump. See the knife. Yeah, let's get into this because got to forgive it. It's a little wet out here. It's been raining, and I'm actually trying to get this video done before some more rain comes in. But yeah, it's been, so my stump and some of the stuff that I've been working with out here is going to be wet, but that's okay. This is CPM 3V stainless. It's not going to be a problem, So let's get into it. Let's get the stab test, guys. I always love doing the stab test. And I can tell you another thing. This son of a bitch is razor sharp. One thing I noticed with these Fobos knives when I get them, they are wicked sharp, So you can come in here and just do this little corner cut right here. Just press down and bam, just cuts right through the corners all the way through this catalog. Make it rain, whoop, you know what I mean? Or if you wanted to, you can even come in here and do a little chop and see all that fly off there. But they're just super sharp. All right. Went all the way through. The tip is right here, just coming out the side of the catalog. You can see it's about, I'd say about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick catalog. It's obviously solid paper, but it's just, bam, come in here, get a nice stab. Again, the tip just came out the other side there. No problem. Nice thick catalog. But for stabbing, definitely ain't gonna have a problem. That tip is in great shape. No deformation, nothing. Everything feels nice and right. Let's see. I mean, you guys see it, it's sharp. But hey, this was my spec sheet here. I wrote everything down on there, but you know, a lot of times, you know, honestly, a lot of people use their stuff mostly for cutting cardboard boxes and packages open, things like that. So, you know, you want to see if it cut cardboard, right? So, no problem. I mean, it just rips right through that. And we all know cardboard's hard on the blade edge too. So, but it ripping right through it, no problem. Let's get into out and about. Had to cut some pants off of somebody in an emergency situation, or maybe you just had a good night out and you want to hurry up and get to it. You know what I mean? Here we go. We got some. Come in here, stab. Whoop. Stab right through. Cut those pants off if you need to. Handle your business. Handle your business. Bam. Right there. Cuts it off. No problem. Man, I really like just, there's so much grip to this blade. It just feels very nice. And that's one of the things Eric does is, I mean, he's making these knives for, you know, his slogan is for operators by operators, right? So, I mean, this thing has a natural pointability to it, if that makes sense. Like, you had to come in and, you know, poke that old grizzly bear in the booty, boop, it's going to be right there. And that's one thing I noticed with the Tier 1 BC, the calculate, it's just wherever I stick my hand out, that point is going right there, almost like I'm pointing a finger. Like, and so I know you can say that for a lot. There's some knives out there where like you punch out and that tips a little bit up or a little bit down, whatever. It's just, these just seem to have a natural pointability for obviously doing that type of stuff, which is cool. I don't know. It's something I noticed. Maybe I don't know, maybe it's not a real thing, but I think it is. So, but let's get to the brick. So this is a regular old brick I bought at Home Depot, and this thing is actually a really good brick. Let's finally, I don't even think it's starting to crack. But we're going to use the pommel on here. We're going to do a few hits on this. You know, see if the handles come loose or anything like that. See what it does to the brick, or even if it does anything to the CPM 3V here, you know. There's not even a scratch on the CPM 3V right here where I was hitting that. You can see the brick. It took a little bit of chunks out of the brick. No problem. This finger choil right here did a nice job of, you know, pretty much keeping my hand in place. You know, as you're striking down the force, your hand's going to want to slip down. But I was able to pretty much keep my hand right where it was. It moved a little bit, but that's to be expected hitting something like this that hard. Keeping my hand in place, no problem. Fingers are okay. Brake is there, still there. But looking at the end of this, there's absolutely no damage, no scratching. Wipe it off, you wouldn't even be able to tell I hit the brake with it. So very cool. You know, come in, boom, bump somebody on the back of the head, knock some sense into them. One of the other things I like to do is I like to cut through this extension cord here. You know, it's your standard home extension cord. It's got 3 pieces of copper wire that are rubber sheathed in there. You know, if you can see that right there. But you know, typically most people aren't cutting through a extension cord or anything like that with their knife, but I like to do it because it puts a good test on the edge. You know, it's got that wire in there and everything like that. But if you had to, you can come in here and do a little chop. It goes flying off. Every time it always goes flying. I'm going to do it this way. See it go flying off. Nice clean chop cut through there. But, you know, you could chop through this pretty easily with a lot of knives. Let's see how well it does slicing through it. So this is always a tough test. Slides right off there. Cutting into it. Nope. Yep. There we go. Just about through it. Like to slice through it. I could put it down and like saw through it, but I like to slice through it if I can. There he goes. So pretty clean cut through there. Took a little bit of work, but it always does. Like I said, it's wire, so it's not always the easiest thing to cut through, but you can cut through it if you needed to. If you had to be a little bit more precise with it, let's check this edge. That's why I do it, really, is to see the edge. where I see red on the blade from the rubber on the sheath, there's no chipping or rolling or anything like that. And there's no marks on the blade either. It's clean. So that's one thing I did notice too with these Fobos knives is stuff doesn't really stick to them. They don't scratch or anything like that easily, and they stay really clean looking, which is cool too, right? So let's get over here to the poly rope. Got the old yellow poly rope here. This stuff is a pain in the ass to cut, but cut right through that. Oh, well, missed it with one little strand there. Cut right through that, no problem. I mean, as I start to even touch it, it's cutting through, you know, no problem. You had to come in here and do a little bit more precise cut with it. You can make a mess, you know, but cutting through that poly rope, no problem. Set that off to the side. It's the only thing I don't like about this. It makes a mess. And I'm going to turn around and make some more mess because I have like this 1 inch, 1 inch, I think, maybe 1¼ inch thick, like nylon, not nylon, burlap type rope, if you will. This stuff is always, you know, really rough on a blade edge as well because it's a lot of like, I think dirt and grit in there. It almost acts like a sandpaper, but you have to come in here. Let's try a push cut. Probably should stand up to do this, but oh. Had to rock it a little bit, but able to get through it. Kind of rolled off to the side there on me. A lot of that's probably me. I don't know what else they put in this, but it's weird when you get into it and you look at it. It's almost like they got some sort of they put something on the rope inside, so because the inside part looks different than the outside, but it makes it tough to cut. Let's see if we can cut another piece off here. Cut right through it, no problem. What's kind of cool with this rope though too is if you need to, you can kind of shred it up, make it a little fine. Actually kind of works as a fire starter too. I wouldn't be smelling the smoke from it because again, I don't know what exactly they put on this rope, but it is what it is. Let's get that out of the way. If there's a leather belt, old leather belt I have, you can come in here and you can shave some pieces off if you need to. No problem. Put your thumb on the back, nice cuts. You got to come in here and just do a nice push cut. Bam. Cuts right through that, no problem. You know, if you had to come in here and do a little chop cut, no problem. So, I mean, cutting through leather, stuff like that, you can easily do it. You had to come in here and, like, let's say, split this down the middle. You can come in and do a little stab, pull it through. Nice, clean cut, no problem. So, you do stuff like that if you need to. Or if you needed to do this stick that in there and you had to come in here and start making a feather stick, right? You can come in here and let me find a spot that I haven't already. Come in here and do some nice feather sticking, get you some nice curls off on here. And look at that. Kind of see those forming right there. And I mean, it's just, I can dig, you know, depending on the angle that I'm coming in, I can come in, like do some deep, kind of big curls, or I can come in shallow and do real nice, fine little ones, just shaving it like this. You can see those kind of hanging off there. So it's kind of cool because, you know, just like I said, sticking in the log, depending on what angle you're coming in at, you know, you can give yourself some nice, big, thicker shavings, or you can give yourself some nice, finer shavings. If you need to get even finer than these, I mean, you could always come in here and put your thumb on the back and just slowly work them in like so. Getting a little better at fire stick, guys. I think the more, I need to sit down and just make a shit ton of them one day just to get a lot better at it. But I mean, they're not the prettiest, but they work. But you can see there, the tip right here. You can easily come in there. Or if you had to come in and make yourself your steak, tent steak, easily come in here and shave stuff off. With this nice kind of belly, it nicely kind of rolls out, you know. See all the chips flying out there. Or if you wanted to, you could choke back a little bit and kind of do your little light chopping to speed up the process. You know, get it down to a thinner point, and then you could come in and refine it with, you know, make it nice and sharp. You know, that way that vampire Sasquatch comes into your campsite looking for some action. You know, you'll have a nice little steak to take care of that, you know. So you can easily make fire sticks or tent stakes with it, if you will. If you needed to do some batoning with it, let's do this right here. You could come in here. Let's say you had to, oh, I don't need a tent stake now. I need this to be a square piece or whatever. You'd always come on. Guess I can't hammer through with a stick, but you could. Bam. Right there. Probably should have used a better, thicker stick than that. Would have hammered through a lot faster, but very nice, clean, right through. Check this edge. Still sharp, man. Man, I tell you, man, these blades, they just stay sharp. They're great. Oh, man, almost forgot to set up one of the things I've been trying to do is got this test from old Scab over at Choir Boys Cutlery. Love that guy. If you guys don't subscribe to Choir Boys Cutlery, go check him out. He does a lot of great videos. I believe he might even have a video on this Alaris as well. I know he's done, I think he just dropped one on the Tier 1 BC the other day. So definitely go check out his channel, guys. But he likes to put these zip ties on a stick or 2x4 or something like that, you know, and cut them off. And the whole goal of it is, I know it'll cut it off, but it's to, you know, you got to kind of, you slip it in there, you kind of pry it a little bit. It puts pressure on that edge and, you know, to see if it's going to deform the edge at all. But, you know, I just put these on, kind of slide it in under here, popped right off, nothing on the edge, popped right off, popped right off. I was using the tuck towards the tip up here, and there's no edge damage, nothing. One of the other things I like to do is this fire hose. I'll tell you what, guys, this fire hose has been the bane, the arch nemesis of a lot of blades. This stuff is tough as hell. It is not easy to cut. It doesn't, I mean, you almost have to have a razor sharp. I mean, I'm talking like a 17-degree edge type kitchen knife sharpness. Sometimes to cut through this. I mean, I had some really sharp blades. They'll shave the hair off my arm, not even really want to saw through this stuff. So it is definitely a test to a blade, whether or not it can cut, you know. I mean, if it doesn't cut through it, I don't take it personally. I don't think it's a bad knife. I just think this is some really ridiculously tough stuff. It's used to fight fires, drag through car wreckages, all sorts of stuff. But we're going to come in and we're going to try a saw cut here. Oh, yeah. It's actually, yep, it's doing pretty, oh, yeah. Cut through it nicely. I actually was cutting through a part that was already cut down the middle. Let's slide this back a little bit. Yeah. So, guys, this knife is sharp. I mean, you're probably looking at me going, well, what do you mean? You're like, it's taking a lot of work to saw through that. It's not really a lot of work, but it just does not. This stuff is, oh, man, if you guys can get a hold of some of this and start cutting on it, I'm telling you, you're going to be like, holy shit, that stuff is indestructible. Got a piece of wood stuck with me. So it'll cut through it nicely, which is great. And again, this is an old used fire hose. This is packed full of like dirt and grit and grime from years of being used on fires. So it acts like sandpaper to a certain degree, and still got a good edge here. So let me see if I can stab it and do a little stab it and cut it right down the middle. Went through. There we go. Nice. Cut it nicely. Guys, that's pretty impressive. I'm I'm shit you not, guys. That's pretty impressive. That fire hose is ridiculous, and this cut through it pretty damn good. See if we can do a little chop cut here. Just a little chop. See how it does on a chop. Nice, got pretty much right through it. If you guys don't know, this is double canvas with a rubber liner glued in. So you're also dealing with glue in this, and it's probably some crazy industrial strength glue. So it'll do that. We know it'll do that, and that's awesome. So one of the other things, let's do a little bit of, oh, look, I got some snails on there. Let's pop those guys off and let them go eat something else. Still a little light batoning. I'm kind of getting away from the batoning a little bit, guys. I'm not really going crazy ham bone wild with batoning, just because there are better tools out there for it. I do like to do it a little bit with a knife just to know that if I had to do it with it, I could. But it's not, ultimately, it's not the goal to baton through everything with your knife. You know, you don't want to do that if you don't have to. I would much rather chop, like find some, you know, logs like this and chop these off if I have to, rather than take a big giant piece of wood and split it down the middle. But I am going to start at least show it going through something in a batoning shape, because it does test the edge, and it does show you that the knife is strong. And I have no doubt that this knife is strong. Got dirt in my mouth. But this knife isn't designed to baton. It's not a batoner, so you really shouldn't baton with it. And as you can see, the thinness in that flat grind, it doesn't really lend itself to batoning very well. Normally with some other knives, this wood probably would have already split, but because of that flat grind, it's being a little bit more difficult. But that's why I don't really recommend batoning with your knife if you don't have to, because you might run into this problem where it gets stuck like this, or you bend or break your blade. Yep, I wedged that sucker in there good. So let's do this. Definitely testing the handle strength here. Probably doesn't help that this wood is soaking wet too. So what's the lesson here, guys? Don't use your knife to baton unless you absolutely have to. Wow, I've never had a knife get stuck in a piece of wood like that before. I feel like because the wood's wet, it's just not letting it go. It's almost like it went in and the wood went around the blade. Trying to do this safely too, and not, you know. There we go. Well, that was pretty rough on the blade. So let's see how it held up. It is still straight as an arrow. Hitting on the back of this swedge with that stick. Left some like wood residual on there, but that'll clean right off. No damage there to the back. Let's check that edge. That was pretty rough on it. No chips, no rolls. Still there. Nothing wrong with that, guys. But again, if you're going to have to do that to build a fire, right, you need some smaller pieces. I would say, you know, chop a limb off. This is actually even probably thicker than what you'd want to chop with. But I'm not going to chop all the way through this. I am going to chop into it, though, to show how well the edge holds up. So let's, I'm going to choke back a little bit. This is, this came off of like this sequoia citrus tree that we have. So pretty hard, pretty getting a little dried out. It might be a little wet right now from the rain, but that dug right in. I mean, I mean, it's that edge is sinking in. Hold on, I got a little piece right here that stabbed me in the hand. Let's check that off. There, look at that. That's my dog. If you heard him. Six, seven, eight. Not a problem. I mean, I could sit here and keep chopping through that, but you guys might get bored. But I'm able to choke back, chop into it nicely. So if you had to come in and chop a branch off, something like that, you could definitely do it. That edge is still there. No problem. This is the 4x4. You guys watch my channel long enough, you see I do a lot of 30 hit challenges on this. Why not do it right now with this on this video? I'll probably do another reel too, but let's do it. 30 hits right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Right there. 30 hits with the Alaris, with a pretty much about a 5-inch blade, not a ton of weight. Let's get back to the cardboard here real quick. We did some chopping, did some hitting, did some cutting. Still an edge there. Let's see if we can. Still cutting that nicely. Let's do this real quick. I suspect there's going to be maybe a little bit of drag, but I don't think it's anything that's going to be bad. And if it does, the way this edge looks, you could probably just strop it and get it hair popping sharp again. But not too bad. There we go. I got one little spot right here that looks like I'm catching up on. Yeah, I mean, this is still super sharp. I'm catching a little spot, but watch. Let's check this out, guys. I'm pretty sure I could take the hair. So, got this hairy hand right here. So, see the hairs right there. That nice little bald spot right there. See that? So, is it as sharp as it was? No, but I wouldn't expect to be doing all those tests, right? But it's still pretty freaking damn sharp. I can tell you this is still sharper than what I've gotten some other knives brand new. You know what I mean? So, not everybody puts the greatest factory edge on it. And I got to say, these factory edges on the Foboses are phenomenal. Guys, this is a great blade. Feels really good in the hand. It's got a nice carry system, right out of the box. You don't have to go out and really do a whole lot of upgrading or anything like that. I mean, as this sits, you can do a lot with it. Maybe a couple of different clips. You could put a molly clip on here, lash it to your backpack if you wanted to, or a molly battle belt, if you will. This blade's going to do a lot for you. It's got a lot of capabilities with its shape, its size, and its weight. And I don't think you can go wrong with it. 100% made in the USA. Quality steel. Handle materials are, it's just, Fobos makes some quality stuff. And I don't think you can go wrong with it. Guys, there's going to be a link down below. You can follow it to take you to Fobos' website, but there's also a link for YV Gear. They're an authorized dealer for Fobos knives. Utilize that link, order your Fobos. They have the new Tier 1 minis are coming out. You can pre-order those. I think they might even already be out, but go check those blades out too. But utilize the links below. Helps the channel out, helps me out. I appreciate it. I'm like all blocking myself with the knife here. But guys, great blade. I'm not just saying that. I know, full disclosure, Eric sent these for me to check out. But I'm telling you, if I didn't like this blade, I wouldn't even have a video up on it. This is my first time using it. I like it. I'm definitely going to rotate have this in my rotation with all my other blades, as well with the other Fobos knives that I have. The great blades. They're worth the money, definitely. Eric, thank you so much. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Let's help this channel grow, guys, a little bit more if you can. Hit like. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. And please share the videos with your friends and family if they enjoy knife content as well. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay safe, stay sharp, and we're going to see you next time.